Hey folks, Dave here to let you know we did a special crossover with Lore Party recently. You may remember Jaden as a guest on 2 earlier episodes. He's great, and he beat me at my own loosely crafted Mothman game show, which I'm still a little bit upset about, Jaden. Jaden invited me to sit down with a number of members of Lore Party Lawrence and talk about the ins and outs of the Brotherhood of Steel. You should definitely go over and listen to that episode in its full extent. This is a short excerpt from the tail end of the episode where I talk about the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 76, and how they came to be, which portions of this have recently been confirmed by Bethesda. So I will say that in this case, my theory is proven correct. But it pairs well with the original, which you can find in the link in the description. I really enjoy the content Lore Party puts out, and it's nice to collaborate with a group that values the deeper narrative that games create. I'll turn it over to Abu.
What you're about to hear is some content that was cut from our Fallout episode about the Brotherhood of Steel. Lawrence and Jaden were joined by Dave from the podcast Vault Boys WV. He has this incredible theory about why he believes the Brotherhood will definitely show up in Fallout 76. It was too long to include in the original episode, but we still really wanted to share the theory because, honestly, it's pretty incredible. So here's Dave from the podcast Vault Boys WV.
Yeah, so newsflash, Brotherhood of Steel is in Fallout 76.
How the hell does that work?
So all right, so I'm going to lay out some information here for you. I'm going to lay it all out on the table. And you know what? I've got a little note here that somebody found in one of their playthroughs. This week that we're recording, a lot of the footage has come out from a Bethesda event that they did at the Greenbrier Resort, where they had a bunch of media influencers and stuff come in and play the game, and they were able to upload all their footage online so you could see it. And I spent several hours looking over this footage to make material not only for my own podcast at Vault Boys WV, but also for this podcast. And I've got a little note here I'm going to read. So somebody found this in the wild, and I'll explain a little bit afterwards. Note states, the responders don't know shit. Every night there are more of them in the sky. Brotherhood warned us all. Defiance has fallen. They said, what the hell's that mean? Supplies running low. They try to get Abby way over the mountain. Free states have got to know more. Sammy, you read this? Get to Abby. Straight east, off the Red Rocket Megastop. She knows the Brotherhood of Steel better than anyone. May angels look after you, because sure as shit, nothing else will. So, it's kind of a note that combines and relates that there are 3 factions within this node itself, just by what's capitalized and what's not. So the first faction is actually one that they show off in the game called the Responders, which are essentially the followers of the apocalypse for West Virginia. And so bombs didn't hit West Virginia and Appalachia when the Great War happened. So people were still surviving. There were still people out there. There were still people that were running these businesses. Even diners were still opening. They were serving like mutt fruit shakes and like strange meats and stuff. So everybody was still living and working in Appalachia. And so the responders were essentially a group of citizens that came together, and they were like, okay, we're going to be the first responders to this incident and try to help people and try to give people medical care and try to set up these aid shelters, kind of like you would see like a community-run FEMA event. And so in Fallout 76, the thing is, everybody is dead. None of these people exist anymore. But they existed about 5 or 6 years before the vault doors opened, which you've been closed in this vault for about 25 years. So 20 years into the Great War, there's still people living and working in West Virginia trying to do what they can. So the responders themselves had a base, and your player discovers them and hears these audio tapes and these audio logs, and then via these terminals gets missions for them and is able to complete these faction missions just by utilizing what they've, I guess, learned from this particular location. So it's a different kind of storytelling than just an NPC giving you a dialogue set.
And for you to go, yes, no, hate newspapers.
Yeah, none of that. So with factions working like that, where it is literally essentially people finding the remnants of these factions and then taking up the mantle, it's very similar to how the Minutemen function in Fallout 4, where they literally are a bunch of people that ran upon some costumes and outfits from the Revolutionary War, read up on the Minutemen and what they stood for, and then continued that vision into the wasteland. So in this game, the people that you meet in the factions are real players in real life that have just found this stuff. So I would assume that there are Brotherhood of Steel members that have died, have left notes, just like the note that I've seen here, which is quite close to Vault 76, where you start in the game, that are in West Virginia. One of the other notes that I have here is that they warned us, the Brotherhood, in this note, that Defiance has fallen. And Defiance is spelled with a capital D. And so, why are they warning everybody that Defiance has fallen? Well, from my speculation, I think that Defiance is a proper name for something. So, what seems like to me is a crashed satellite. So, in the game, you can actually find this gigantic crashed satellite in the middle of everything.
Interesting.
And so, what they're managing and what they're looking at, the Brotherhood themselves, are looking at technology. So they're not going to be able to be like, oh, there's a lot of super mutants here. They're focusing and tracking on technology, which I guess in turn marks a reason as to how they got to West Virginia in the first place. There's a lot of ways that they actually could do that. One of the ways being so they're bunkered right now. Well, in continuity, they're bunkered at Lost Hills, which is a representation of a government fallout shelter for government workers. And so all of those fallout shelters in real life and in the games use long-range radio frequency communicators to communicate with people all across the United States, including the congressional bunker, which is located at the Greenbrier Resort until 1990. And as we know in the game, there is a bunker under the Greenbrier Resort Hotel. So that's one way that they could have done it, is by communicating with these government employees that work there. Also, there's a gigantic satellite that's one of the biggest satellites in the world that they use now to communicate with aliens. It's called the Green Bank Telescope. That's another piece of technology, as well as the fact that there are 3 nuclear silos within Fallout 76, and they probably want to get their hands on them, because when you're looking at low-hanging fruit of technology to keep out of people's hands, after you just saw them destroy the entire world, nuclear weapons are probably at the top of your list.
Yeah, I'd assume.
So as far as reasoning for them to be there, they probably have sent out a recon team. It's probably not the full Brotherhood of Steel or something. So there's probably a recon team. They are in West Virginia searching for some sort of technology, but they are warning people that Defiance has fallen.
That makes me feel a lot better. Especially, I hadn't thought about the idea of possibly a splinter group being formed through radio communications. I actually really like that idea.
Also, that just blew my mind. That was some real in-depth research that you did.
Yeah, my buddy says that I often channel my inner Russ Cole from True Detective.
I understand that now.
Yeah.
That was nice.
I mean, oh gosh, that's impressive, actually, that you tied that together. That's awesome.
Well,
If that's not in Fallout 76, I'm going to be pissed off.
Right?
Well, so there's also this, one of the things that I'm going to get to was that this Defiant satellite is partially, there's some, in the Fallout universe, there's some alien technology going on. Like there's Mothership Zeta, there's the aliens in the Mojave, like there are confirmed aliens within that universe. And there's actually a big alien sighting in West Virginia at Flatwoods that may be referenced in the game that I've seen concept art for. So one of the interesting things is that in this game, your main AI enemies that utilize guns are called the Scorched. And they were originally described as just like super early ghouls. But in the game, if you look at them, they all are wearing outfits that you would see in the Fallout universe, but they all have little green oozy spikes coming out of them. And so my theory is that this satellite that's crashed had some sort of virus which killed off all of the remaining survivors of West Virginia and has created this network, well, not this network, this opportunity for the Vault 76 dwellers to come out and rebuild.
That's very interesting, because one of the theories that I had talked about in a previous episode of Lore Party was tying into the idea of what if the vault itself is just another Vault-Tec experiment?
So that ties into my final theory that I have.
Oh, shit.
So this satellite that fell from space, when you emerge from Vault 76, you're given the task of securing 3 nuclear silos at all costs. This is from the very first terminal in the game that you run across. I'm sorry if that is a spoiler, but that is within the first 5 minutes. You're to secure these 3 nuclear silos.
Too late.
Too late. But the intention behind it is that you're supposed to do it without, with ignoring any kind of government interference, any kind of settler interference, any kind of faction that would want to control them. You have the liberty to eliminate at all costs. While there also is Vault 76, there is this locked bunker that's under the Greenbrier that has historically held congressional members. And so in Fallout 3, John Henry Eden says, we have Congress running and working in a bunker down below, and they're planning America's first baseball game, something like that. So what I can infer is that possibly under the Greenbrier Hotel and Resort, there is a bunker specifically set up for the remnants of the congressional members, also known in the Fallout universe as the Enclave.
Yes.
So what does the Enclave
shit.
also control? They control all of Vault-Tec. So my theory is that they have sent a satellite down to Earth to wipe out the population surrounding these nuclear silos, and then set up the timer for Vault 76 to open to send out their own representatives to reclaim the nuclear silos for them before they emerge from the vault.
Son of a bitch.
I'm done. I'll throw the book on that one.
Oh my god.
I'm so glad we see eye to eye on that.
We might have ruined Fallout 76 for a lot of people.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, take this, Bethesda. Sue us if you want.
You can put a spoiler tag there, but this is all running from information that I've been able to see and infer. I don't have any insider sources. This is all stuff that you can go out and find yourself.
So make sure you sue Dave, not us.
Yeah.
Right, sue me.
Make sure you give Dave a job, not us.
You cracked the code.
Ooh, Dave, your deep cuts. They cut so deep. Was that not incredible? Thanks again to Dave for joining us and being a guest on our show. Be sure to check out his podcast, Vault Boys WV, wherever you get your podcasts. It's a show all about Fallout 76 and all about West Virginia, where Dave is from. And we'd love to hear what you think about the possibility of the Brotherhood being in Fallout 76. So connect with us on Twitter and Instagram at lore_party. As always, you can find Lore Party on any podcast platform out there, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. So be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we'll have Dave back on to talk more Fallout. Thanks for listening.